Meet the Expert, a knowledge-sharing initiative of your knowledge partner, the Developing Bangladesh. We discuss on trade, investment, commerce, education, skills, economic development, global peace and prosperity, etc. issues. If you are interested to these issues, please subscribe to the channel. Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner, please subscribe now.
Exactly, the first one. The first one is purposeful pedagogy. So focus on practicing, rely on evidence, co-create content, and use multiple modules. So we have actually so many points to talk about how we can do that in details. Okay. When we focus about practicing, the students actually center approach in which a student learn about the subject by working in groups to solve an open-ending problems using methods that they are typically hands-on, right? Rely on evidence. The teaching practicing to approach that is supported by robotics and reliable research. And I have to underline so many lines about research, because this is actually the trending skill, which is already our generation needed to have. Whatever that they work on, or they just talented and develop it. So research skills is all the time, a quick and win skill that everybody needs to have it. Co-create content, use finding and selecting, grouping and contextualization, and like preserving, maintaining, archiving, and sharing digital content as opportunity for community building, critical inquiry, the platform to demonstrate, and creative abilities to develop digital learning of both faculty and students. Would use multiple actually modality, channel information to or anything that communicates meaning in some way, and enable the use of combination of text, images, motion. This is something actually just a small tips, and we can know what exactly should be done for that pillars to achieve as an educator, to know exactly what you should do or what you have to gather when you make a plan to your lesson or to your lecture. All right, we have to cover what exactly there, because resources actually is here. But what we need is to focus on the skills for our learners. We have to develop them, and we can easily develop that because we have all resources. Resources is already there, not like before. Before we had the educators or the teacher, he's already planning everything, planning for the video, which is compatible, planning for the activity, which is make things easier to the students. But now we have everything is ready. So what are we missing? We are missing actually to focus on the skills that we really needed in that time. In the next slide, we can see also the systems thinking. Okay, so system thinking, this is the discipline of acting with the knowledge that you and your organization's work are parts of a larger learning ecosystem. Any organization, it's a part of the ecosystem. Wherever it's a small academy, even it's a nursery in your country, it's a part of the ecosystem. It calls for using tools and methods designed for working successfully in complex environments of interconnected relationships. So how we can apply or implement that? We have the organize for collective impact, work together across solids, sharing information to solve complex problems, distributed leadership. We use organizational structure, such as communities of practice and communities of inquiry to define that, and design for complexity, dynamically adapt instruction, assessment, content, and activities to suit the context. So this is actually what we call it systems thinking. When you just put things together, Nothing will be missed and easily to be done. In the next one, which is we call it number 3, looped learning. Teachers and systems of learning use multiple feedback protocols for improving, reframing, and transforming practice and policy. So we have to loop learning according to that, and that's the meaning of it. So this is the reflection in work. We use a structured reflection on experience-informed planning. We generate actually the analysis that guides improvement, provide, like practicalness, access to use, and data to improve teaching, policy, methods, tools, and technological. And we will come to that technological way in somehow. And technology actually, it has really, like a great weapon. You have to make the balance for using technology. There is really some ways and some certain points, maybe we can discuss it later on, for how to use the balance, how to make the traditional way there, okay, in a percentage, and in the same time, you will have the technology, which is really, we cannot say regardless that, we cannot say no about technology. We have to be updated, but in the same time, we have to keep our traditional way in some context and culture. Democratic engagement, which is really very important in the teaching loop. So assure every participants have the access, support, materials, and actually what we can say and safety they need to be active learners, and provided opportunities for peer-to-peer learning, and are including and shaping the learning experience. This is actually what we need for democratic engagement. But how we can apply that and how we can implement it, we have to provide facilitated discourse. So assure that the online discussion has a stated purpose, facilitator, build community, and ask congenial, open-ended questions, and provide summarize of the exchange. The second point of to have to apply the democratic engagement, we use open education resources, okay? This is very democratic engagement. When we leverage teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium, digital or otherwise, that reside in public domain, just to have been released under an open license that permits a no-cost access, actually, use, adoption, and distribution by other who with or no limit restrictions. So point of that convenient structures learning in communities. Communities, like of practicing a group of people who came together to improve their practice and co-created knowledge. So in a structure of facilitating format, which is really shared language, is used discussion, the reflection, the content creation. In teaching and communities of inquiry are focused actually on developing teacher presence, social presence, and cognitive presence as well. This is the digital actually inclusion. We provide open system for online teaching and learning, which is really, like after the pandemic of COVID-19, we know how this is a very important issue, how we have to use the online learning. And maybe in the beginning, it was very, like very hard just to make teaching and every education is online. But Harvard, it was the first university in the world, it said, I am online. I can provide online teaching. Not because actually that online is not only an obligatory in that time, but this is the market actually in education, right? So once there is no way of using something, you have to be a leader in that, and you have to develop yourself to be on the loop, okay? And in the same time, you can keep what you have from repetition. Enable connected learning pathways, connect courses, people, and resources to develop unique, personalized. learning pathways. So co-design innovations, gather using or uses to develop the innovation, the technology, and to develop platforms, okay, and apps, plugins, and other augmentation that customize the performance of technology. We have to be very picky to do that, or to implement that, or to adopt something that is really can be on the way or the guideline that we are doing in our vision. So provide secure spaces, meet establishment and standards of privacy, availability, and security risk analysis. Everything that we have to make analysis on that. Once we know about what we can do or what have the guidelines to be actually in our sustainable learning, to be a sustainable development and to achieve what we have the meaning and passion. This is a sample of solution. I'm all the time when I just say something about lecturing or explaining, I don't like for just having a full stop without giving a solution, okay? The solution actually I'm giving now, which is really very simple. What do you think that most of our generation is turned to another digital, like learning? They all attracted by apps, mobile apps, all of them having the apps and play and play and play. And you don't know exactly what this playing are coming. And it can be very, like attacking the mindset of our culture, of our generation, just to be completely adopted to being playful generation, not coming to the things that really need to be done in our generation. So when you have a war, and that's a war, not like before, when we have a war, we have to get the same weapon, right? The same weapon is just the same thing, the same way, technology, okay? We have been attacked by technology, and we have to attack again our generation to have the balance, to let them know exactly what we have been doing. In the game aping that I'm talking about, it's just an idea for how to change the mindset for our generation, which is really alpha generation. I'm talking about the new generation that will, after 40 years, will be our leaders later on. So we have to take care of them from now, all right? That alpha generation born in 2006, all right? And they are really completely, they have certain characteristics. They are completely digital. They cannot learn except if they're in a video.
Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner. We take care of trade and investment, education and skills, economic diplomacy and economic development. If you would like to keep you updated on these issues, please subscribe to Developing Bangladesh. Thank you very much for watching till the last.